All right, today we're going to talk about something that we hope never happens, but it may. And if it does, we want you to be able to successfully survive it. We're going to talk about an active shooter. Now, an active shooter is an individual that's actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, not all, but most, an active shooter is going to be using firearms, and there's no pattern nor is there any method to their selection of victims. Because active shooter situations are often over within 10 to 15 minutes before law enforcement arrives on the scene. Individuals must be prepared both mentally and physically to deal with an active shooter situation. So we're going to try to give you a few tips, a few pointers as to how to manage. The characteristics of an active shooter situation are these. The victims are generally selected at random. The event is very unpredictable and also evolves very quickly. Law enforcement would be required. To cope with an active shooter situation, one thing you need to do is to take note of the two nearest exits in any facility that you're located and be aware of your environment and any possible dangers. You want to evacuate via a pre-planned evacuation route to a safe area. Now, if you're in a lot of office buildings, they will have that posted somewhere where you can see it. If you're in a room with a door, stay there and secure the door. If you're in a hallway or an open area, get into a room or hide in a secure area. Now, there are several responses that you need to bear in mind. How do I respond when an active shooter is in my vicinity? Well, the first thing that you want to do, if at all possible, is to run. Have an escape route and a plan in mind. Even if you yourself just personally have sorted that out by yourself, still know how you're going to get out. Leave your belongings behind. You want to keep your hands visible because of law enforcement perhaps coming in. Then, if you cannot run and get out and away from the building, then you want to hide. You want to hide in an area that's out of the shooter's view. You want to block the entry to your hiding place and lock the doors. And then also you want to make sure to silence your cell phone. In a situation like this, having a cell phone go off can be fatal. The third resort and the last resort is to fight. This is, as I said, a last resort only, and when your life is in imminent danger. Attempt to incapacitate the shooter, act with physical aggression, throw things at them. Fire extinguishers are very handy for this kind of thing. Firing them off, cloud their vision. Call 911 only when it's safe to do so. Now, when the law enforcement officers arrive, two or three things you want to remember to do. First of all, you want to remember to keep yourself calm, follow instructions, do whatever they tell you to do. Put down any items that are in your hands, bags or jackets. Raise and spread your fingers. Keep your hands visible at all times. Avoid any quick movements towards the officers, such as holding on to them for safety. Avoid pointing and screaming or yelling. Don't stop to ask the officers for help or direction when you're evacuating. Get out of the way and out of the situation as quickly as possible. Information you should be able to provide, if at all possible, to law enforcement officers or 911 operators, the location of the active shooter, the number of the shooters, if there's more than one, physical description of the shooters, what are they wearing, how tall are they, the number and type of weapons that are being held by the shooters, and the number of potential victims at the location. I hope this is useful to you, and hope that it helps you should you find yourself in this situation.